Hello, welcome to Computer Networks online lecture series. Myself Reema Rawat from Edge Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication. I'll be taking the online lecture series on the subject Computer Networks. So let's start today's session.
So first of all, what is PSTN? So PSTN refers to as the Public Switch Telephone Network. It is also known as POTS, that means Plain Old Telephone Service. That is basically an interconnected communication or telecommunication system over which telephone calls are made using the copper cables. Present PSTN comprises of different copper cables, coaxial cables, microwave communication links, fiber optic cables and undersea telephone lines. Okay, PSTN operates on the principle of circuit switching. That means, as the name suggests, that is public switch telephone networks. This is using the switching concept for telecommunication or telephone networking. That means whenever this circuit switching is used, a dedicated physical path or circuit is established when the call is initiated, and after the call completion, this channel is free or it is made free for another transmission. Okay. Now, its main objective is to transmit the human voice in a recognizable form. So, PSTN is used for transmission of voice using a recognizable form. Now, the operation of PSTN operates on the following networks or the following standards under the ITU-T. That means it follows the ITU-T standards, where ITU-T stands for International Telecommunication Union for telecommunication purpose. Now let us see the evolution of PSTN. That means how PSTN is evolved and what is the history of PSTN. So the PSTN is the history of Alexander Bell, AT&T and Bell Laboratories companies. Now in 1875, the Alexander Bell invented the telephone, and using that the further inventions are made for the calling procedure. So Bell Telephone Company, which opened its first switching office in 1878, was located in New Haven in Connecticut. So as you can see over here in the diagram, the old telephone communication switching is indicated. There were operators in the previous transmission which were transmitting or switching the calls which are made by the users. So according to the telephone leased lines, they will switch the calls to the particular user or the destination calls. Okay, but nowadays the technology is invented far better, and nowadays calls are made for higher speed and there are no physical or no human parameters or human strength are accessed in that. Then electromechanical exchanges were used. In that Strauger switches and crossbar switches were used. In that the manpower used was not there or it was reduced to a greater extent. Then nowadays we are using the digital switching concept. In here in diagram, DMS 100 digital switch is indicated, or as you can see the server room is indicated. Now the next we are going to see is the typical circuit route for a medium distance call. So let us consider one diagram for this. So in this diagram, there are two end-to-end telephone devices are indicated through which the call is to be completed. Now in this The circle, the triangle and the hexagon indicates the different switching offices. So the circle indicates over here is the end office, the triangle indicates over here is the toll office, and the hexagon indicates over here the intermediate switching offices. That means for longer distance communication, how the call is initiated and how it is completed. Okay. So this consists of three basic parts. The first one is local loops, which is actually analog twisted pairs going into houses and businesses or the buildings. The second major component over here is the trunk. That means these trunks are the digital fiber optics connecting the switching offices. And the third component over here is the switching office, where calls are moved from one trunk to another. That means it will form the hierarchy according to which the call is initiated and completed upstream and downstream wise. Okay, so this is the typical arrangement of the circuit route for a medium distance call. Okay, so whenever any call is to be generated, and for that if it is to be transferred to the end office, the local loop is used. After that, from end office to toll office, toll connecting trunk is used. Then from the end office, toll office to the intermediate switching office, the very high bandwidth inter-toll trunks are used. Okay, so now let's see each of these components in detail. So first of all, let us see the local loop. So the local loop is basically includes the components like modems, ADSL, that is asymmetric digital subscriber lines, and wireless local loops, that is WLL. Okay, let's see first one, that is modems. So modem stands for modulator and demodulator combination that are used at the transmitter and receiver end. Here is how the modem looks like. This is a general diagram of the modem. So modem modulates one or more carrier signals to encode digital data for transmission, and it demodulates the signal to decode the transmitted information. That's why it is named as the modulator demodulator. Jointly or combinedly it is called as modems. So the basic goal of the modem is to produce the signal that can be transmitted easily and decoded reliably to reproduce the original digital data. Okay, so at your home or at your business application site or at your buildings, when you are using the network or internet, you will see a modem. Okay, so the next is ADSL, which is asymmetrical digital subscriber line. This is a type of DSL, which is digital subscriber line, and these in ADSL, bandwidth and bit rate are said to be asymmetric. That means greater toward the customer premises, that means downstream, than the reverse, that means upstream. That's why it is referred to as the asymmetric DSL. Now, in this, providers usually market ADSL as a service for consumers for internet access, for primarily downloading the content from the internet, but not serving the content which is accessed by the others or other users. Okay. Let us see the typical ADSL equipment configuration or ADSL equipment arrangement at the customer premises and at the internet service provider side. So this is the diagram which indicates the typical ADSL configuration for the equipments. So here, as you can see, from the one end, the telephone company end office is indicated, and at the another end, customer premises, or as you can say the user premises is indicated. Now here the main device used is called as NID, which is network interface device, which indicates the ending of the telephone company premises and starting of the customer premises. The premises have the NIC or network interface device or network interface card to access the internet and to transfer it in the form of voice and data. So looking at the telephone company end office, you can see that there is a codec which is referred to as the coder and decoder. Why it is used? For that we need to understand what is splitter. So both at the telephone company end office and at the customer premises, splitter is used. Splitter, as the name suggests, splits two signals, that means one voice signal and another data signal. So at the telephone company end office side, the splitter will separate these two signals, giving the voice signal to the codec, that means coder and decoder, giving it to the voice switch, and the data signal to the ISP, that is internet service provider. Now, using the telephone line at the customer premises, if you see that there is NID, which is network interface device, which separates the customer premises and telephone company side, then this NID will give the signal to splitter of the same concept, which splits the signal, data signal and voice signal. The voice signal is given to the telephone for the voice transmission, and the data signal is given to ADSL modem, which is asymmetric digital subscriber line modem, and using that modem, using the Ethernet cable, the data is given to the computer. So this is how the ADSL transfers data, and this indicates the equipment configuration for that. Now let us see WLL, which is wireless local loops. So wireless local loops uses wireless links rather than copper wires to connect subscribers to the local central office. The wireless local loop architecture is shown over here. Here the first has PSTN. The PSTN transfers it to the switch function, and the switch function will give it to the local exchange offices. Now at the local exchange offices there is WANU, which is referred to as the Wireless Access Network Unit, which includes transceiver, WLL controller, AM and HLR. The AM stands for Access Manager and HLR stands for Home Location Register. Now this signal is transmitted through via the internet or via the antenna at the home location. At the home location there is WASU, which is referred to as the Wireless Access Subscriber Unit, where you can have the voice data, fax, your modems or data transmission. Now, the home side, using the antenna, the data is received, which may be in the form of voice, fax, modems or data. Okay, so this is the typical arrangement or architecture indicating the WLL, that means wireless local loops. Okay, so this is the concept of PSTN, that is public switch telephone network, which is the basis for data communication, and I hope that this is clear to you now. These are the references for this presentation. Thank you. Thank you for listening.